There I was on the brink of total power.
No matter how long we stay, there's a sunny sky.
Underrated 1970s cartoons that deserve a comeback. It's been a long time since any of us have wolfed down our sugary cereal in time to catch the Sunday morning broadcast before running outside to hang out with our friends. This Hanna-Barbera-dominated ritual began in the 60s, but took off in the 70s, when creators really started to experiment. It led to a multitude of colorful characters, pure imagination, and plenty of whimsy. Some of these shows were nuggets of fun, even ahead of their time. Spiderwoman, 1979. After the surprising success of Jessica Drew's comic book debut, Marvel attempted to develop the character further, leading to the debut of her very own TV show in 1979, produced by DePatie Freleng Enterprises and Marvel Comics and Animation. The show differed from the comics quite a bit, giving her a different backstory and introducing powers more akin to the other iconic arachnid Marvel Comics' own Spider-Man. Even though Marvel heroes like Spider-Man made guest appearances throughout the show, Spider-Woman and her alter ego Jessica Drew, voiced by Joe Van Ark, was shown to be powerful and benevolent forces on their own. Spider-Woman with her formidable powers, and Jessica with her adroitness as an editor for Justice magazine. The show only ran for one season and 16 episodes, failing to grab audiences, despite its impressive superheroine, which was a rarity back then, or its hilarious hijinks. To date, the comics arguably still haven't quite done her justice. She was definitely underappreciated back then. She is a storied character. But did you know Spider-Woman, created by Archie Goodwin and Marie Severin, was originally intended as a one-off character by Marvel Comics? Her original purpose was simply to give the publisher sole ownership of the Spider-Woman name, keeping it from Filmation and DC hands. Well, now we're in a time where studios are finally embracing female superheroes and diving into past decades for new content. Maybe they haven't looked far back enough. Maybe it's time to give Spider-Woman another shot on TV and let her singular style of heroics shine. Number 2, Battle of the Planets. The superheroes of today don't hold a candle to the likes of Mark, Jason, Princess, Keop, and Tiny, the G-Force team, and their indomitable spaceship, the Phoenix. The stars of the 1978 anime, Battle of the Planets, based on Tatsu Yoshida's science ninja team Gatchaman, regularly defended Earth from the ancient forces of the planet Spectra and the Luminous One. There was nothing like seeing these planetary defenders escape peril by activating the ship's fiery phoenix form, where the ship itself reshapes into a phoenix and turns into pure energy. Let's see the Avengers Quinjet do that. Sandy Frank's Battle of the Planets altered the story and characters of Gatchaman quite a bit for American audiences, and instead took inspiration from the far more popular Star Wars, which had just been released, which is why the G-Force's droid companion, 7's Arc 7, might look a little familiar. Adapting it to American audiences also meant that it was far less violent and profanity-laced than the Japanese source material. The show mainly focused on creating a team of colorful young adults battling a wacky, evil organization. It was wacky, but we loved it, and today's kids would be sure to love it too. Anime had soared in popularity over the last decade or so. While there have been attempts to reboot and readapt Battle of the Planets, none have come to fruition. It's been over a decade since the last attempt, which was quietly scrapped before it ever saw the light of day. It's definitely time to re-examine this 70s treasure and bring back one of the most vibrant pieces of 70s Saturday morning programming. Number 3, Return to the Planet of the Apes. Franklin J. Schaffner's Planet of the Apes, based on Pierre Boulez's novel, wowed an entire generation when it debuted in 1968. The film and subsequent franchise had continued to spark conversations about everything from human nature to animal welfare. People should have been able to say the same about the animated series, Return to the Planet of the Apes, which debuted in 1975. The show followed astronauts Bill Hudson, Jeff Allen, and Judy Franklin as they fought to survive in a future dominated by super advanced apes. Viewers will remember the astronauts fleeing from the gorilla armies and striking deals with the underdwellers to save the world from volcanic destruction. It all still sounds exciting, but poor production values and recycled artwork, along with what critics described as poor voice work, prevented the show from becoming a hit among Planet of the Apes' large fan base. But the writing of the show, which captured everything that made the original film great, was still there. The world has been through so many changes since the days of that one-season series, but there's no doubt that the intelligent writing and the exploration of many of its themes would still resonate with audiences of all ages today. It's time that we all return to the Planet of the Apes. Number 4. Jana of the Jungle. We did say Hanna-Barbera dominated the airwaves back then. One of the many imaginative characters that introduced to the screen was Jana of the Jungle in 1978. The titular heroine, voiced by B.J. Ward, who is often simplified as being a female Tarzan, was a hero to both humans and animals. The show saw her in plenty of adventures, like the time she saved a village from a rampaging elephant, protecting both the people and the poor beast itself. Kids also watched as she protected a tribe from an erupting volcano. A female Tarzan? Jana was in a whole different league of jungle-dwelling champions. If none of this is ringing any bells to those of you who never missed a Saturday morning back then, it's probably because it only aired for a short 4 months that year. She has appeared in comic books since then, shown to be living in a world far, far from civilization. But she hasn't returned to television yet. Right about now would be a great time for this hunter and her animal companions to swing back onto the screens and remind audiences of the importance of protecting nature. Number 5. The Pebbles Bam Bam Show. The Flintstones redefined family television in the 1960s. The 1970s spin-off series, The Pebbles Bam Bam Show, however, not so much. Debuting in 1971, the spin-off followed Pebbles, voiced by Sally Struthers, and Bam Bam, voiced by Jay North, in their teenage years with all the struggles that come with it, like figuring yourself out, experimenting with starting a band, searching for jobs, or dabbling in the occult, like when Pebbles turned Barney into a frog. The show even incorporated musical numbers to reel those kids in, drawing from Josie and the Pussycats. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work. The show only lasted 1 season, but has come to be appreciated by newer viewers. There's still plenty of potential for Pebbles, Bam Bam, and the residents of Bedrock to appeal to today's kids or just poke fun at what life used to be like. The Flintstones, like The Simpsons, reflects a lifestyle that just barely exists anymore. But the focus of the Pebbles Bam Bam Show has plenty that still resonates with kids today, who also struggle to find jobs, love to make music and content, and who knows, may still dabble in the occult. Number 6. Once Upon a Time, Man. The thing about educational shows is that over the decades, a lot of that information is likely to become outdated. But that doesn't mean the format or characters involved lose their charm. Albert Barilli's Once Upon a Time, Man is one of those shows that could do with a comeback and up-to-date educational material. If you don't recognize this one, it's because it originally aired in Europe in 1978 and ran for a single season. It did make its debut in the US 2 decades later. The series explored a different time period in each episode and featured a slew of historic characters. The animation style may have been simple, but it was lighthearted enough for kids and made history easier to watch. It also used the same cast of characters to retell historical events, which made it easier for us as kids to get a good sense of who did what and why. Although, like we mentioned, the info it included was outdated, and some of the topics were covered a bit too broadly. Dinosaurs wiped out by earthquakes? What it did really well was try to showcase different viewpoints for each topic and balance whimsy with facts. With updated information, there's no doubt this show could become a hit, purely because it's the kind of educational programming modern audiences are missing. Number 7. Valley of the Dinosaurs. Hanna-Barbera seemed to love going back to prehistoric times with their shows. When the production team weren't exploring Bedrock, they followed Professor John Butler, his wife Kim, their kids, Katie and Greg, and their dog Digger, in Valley of the Dinosaurs. The story went that the family was traveling along the Amazon River when they were caught in a whirlpool and transported to a mysterious world where dinosaurs and cave people lived together. There, they meet Grok, his wife, Gara, and their kids, Locke and Tana, as well as their pet stegosaurus, Glump. The show followed the two families as they fled from wild dinosaurs, helplessly waved to passing airplanes, and tried to survive. The Garak clan tried to help the Butler family search for a way out, while the Butlers showed the Garaks how to construct and use modern technology. It was less the Flintstones and more the Lost World. A bit more serious, but still a blast for dinosaur-loving kids. The Valley of Dinosaurs aired on CBS in 1974 and entered syndication from 1977 all the way to 1983. The show was popular enough for an 11-issue comic book series published by Charlton Comics and even a one-shot in 1993. There are plenty of arguments for why Valley of the Dinosaurs deserves a revival, like its educational value, the strength of its wholesome characters, but the one we're going with is it's dinosaurs and cave people. It was awesome, and we need more of that on TV. Which show do you, or someone you know, remember being part of your Saturday morning rituals back then? Share your best Saturday morning cartoon memory in the comments below. If you're all about celebrating those classic, mind-blowing stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more retro goodness.